Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live Q&A. So this Q&A is going to be focused on episode 3, some reaction to that, and also episode 4. There's usually some questions regarding other shows and all of that, just sort of in general, but, you know, mostly it's focused on these two episodes here. So before we go any further, obviously, make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. If you do want to take part in these Q&As, definitely go follow the Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. Link is in the description of this video. I ask for questions every single week, and yeah, you can just post your questions there on the Q&A channel. If you haven't joined the Discord yet or anything like that, I mean, besides Q&A stuff, there's a lot of people talking about The Walking Dead in general. It's honestly a really great place to talk about The Walking Dead. It's honestly like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Honestly, every single Sunday, the chat just goes crazy. Yeah, we're all excited for episode 4 right now. So definitely, again, if you want to take part in these Q&As, talk Walking Dead and stuff like that, then definitely go and follow Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. The link is in the description of this video. But let's get into the first question here. Q&A, what will make Rick change his mind and want to fight back against and escape the CRM? I feel like it's just going to be the fact that he can't really get away without the CRM destroying Alexandria or just really causing a lot of stuff to happen. Like, I think it's just going to get to a point where he's dealing with this and that. And again, right now he's gone. I did a video earlier talking about, you know, whether or not Beal would destroy Alexandria in the finale and maybe possibly as well cause the death of Pearl Thorne. So I could see a lot of that happening. And again, I think Rick trying to escape so many times and it's just constantly failing. I do think he's just going to sort of get frustrated with it and be like, you know what? We need to fight back. We need to take out Major General Beal. And I'll say as of now, Major General Beal hasn't really been a villain in any way. There hasn't really been anything that has happened where it's like, okay, he's a villain. Like, you understand he's the villain. They sort of tell you that. And like, you know, he's the leader of this place. That's also sort of a bad place. So you kind of get it. Like, he is the villain, but like, he's done no villain things yet, right? So, and we're halfway through. I don't think they're going to really be doing that in the next episode or two. I think they're sort of setting something up here for the finale. So I think that's what's going to happen. And I do think just, again, dealing with all of this and whatnot, it's going to get to a point where Rick is like, all right, you know what? We can't just keep trying to get away. It's never going to work. We're never going to be able to run away. We just need to like deal with this, right? Q&A, what do you think Rick and Michonne will do to try and prevent Alexandria from getting destroyed? I don't think there's really anything they can do, but really make a deal with Jadis in that sense. I don't think there's anything that they can really do. Like, if they kill Jadis, then obviously people at the CRM are going to find out, you know, what happened to Jadis, and then all of a sudden that file or whatever she was talking about is going to come out, right? There's a lot of things like that I'm just like, yeah, none of that works. The only thing that you can really do at this point is make a deal with her, right? Make a deal with her, and maybe all of this sort of, you know, maybe you can sort of deal with everything at that point. But I think even like that could happen. They could make a deal with Jadis, but I still feel like Beal already knows. I think Beal knows everything. Q&A, do you think Jadis will help Rick in some sort of way? And if so, how do you think she will help? And do you think Michonne will kill Thorne because she will overhear her saying, I'm going to kill Rick or Michonne? That's funny, I just said this. So yeah, in terms of Jadis helping Rick and Michonne, I guess I don't think she would help Rick and Michonne. I think it would be Rick and Michonne asking Jadis for help, and then I guess she would probably just help. I think that is possible. You know, that's something that would be a different place to go in for the story, but I don't know. It's hard to say with Jadis. And honestly, it is really hard to say. Like, I could see Jadis helping them out, but I could also see Jadis not helping them out, right? Like, it's just, I think she's the villain for this season, so I think at some point she's probably going to die. Q&A, during Okafor's funeral in episode 3, we hear Beal say the name, Hugh Mercer. Could this be the father of Michael and Maxine? No, I don't know who that is. I'm assuming that it's actually someone that was just sort of an actual person in history. Like, I would probably have to go look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's probably just an actual person in history. I don't think there's actually a connection to them in any way. So, no, I would say no, there's no connection. Q&A, do you see us still getting the comic book ending to the whole Walking Dead universe as far as Rick's story, except instead of Sebastian killing Rick, it would be Mason Beal? I don't see it being Mason Beal. I think that would be insane. I don't see it being him being the one to do it, but I see Rick getting a death though, for sure, and I still see us getting a statue of Rick. I see that happening, because if that happens, then it's something that I think a lot of people would be really, really happy about, and it would make a lot of sense, because especially looking at it now with the CRM and all of that, right? Like a really crazy arc. I can imagine if Rick does save this place, I could see them having a statue of Rick. I could see that. It makes sense. Q&A, do you think Jadis was the one Carol referred to when she told Daryl that came back? You know what? I never thought of that, though. I feel like that would just not make a lot of sense. I think if Judith is there, she's going to blow up Alexandria. I don't think she's trying to go back there at all. I think, if anything, it's still Morgan. I don't think it's Rick and Michonne. I really don't think it's Rick and Michonne. I know a lot of people are saying it's Rick and Michonne. I don't see it being them. I think Carol was talking about Morgan. You know, at some points I thought maybe Dwight, but I think at this point it's going to be Morgan, because I'm really sort of expecting there to be a Morgan cliffhanger scene or something at the end of the finale here. I don't know why. There's just a part of me that's sort of expecting Morgan to show up in some way here in the finale. But yeah, anyways, Q&A. Why do you think the CRM is so adamant about secrecy and staying mostly hidden? I think it's more of a, I don't know. I really don't know exactly what it is. I don't even think it's to stay away from walkers and stuff either, because like they obviously can deal with them like nothing. But there is the part to it too, where if they just let everyone come in, then all of a sudden it becomes a problem, right? Like that's sort of something that everyone has dealt with throughout the years. Rick and everyone have always sort of dealt with, like, do we let new people into the community? And there's always been a back and forth on that, because sometimes when you do, bad things happen, or also when you don't, you know, like, is that the right thing to do? And there's always been sort of a, you know, back and forth on that, I'd say, throughout the entirety of The Walking Dead, going back to the very first season, right? So I think that at this point here, it's just sort of, maybe that's a part of it, you know? So if they can sort of stay secret, then they don't have to really deal with a lot. They don't have to deal with a bunch of stuff happening, you know? And it's just sort of, it's probably more of a safety thing than anything, in my opinion. It's more of a safety thing, and it makes it easier for them to do stuff. But who knows? I'm assuming there's going to be more to it. Q&A. Who do you think is more of a threat towards Rick and Michonne, Jadis or Pearl? I think Pearl, because Jadis, I mean, we see her sort of talking with Rick, and I think they are able to make a deal and, you know, try to work stuff out if they have to. I think that that's possible with them. With Pearl, that's not really the case. I feel like with her, she's very much just like she is set on one path, and that is basically that. Q&A, do you think Pearl Thorne can take Dwight's death in the comic with Beal replacing Pamela Milton? I don't see that being the case, because in that situation, I would say Rick, if anything, is more Dwight, right? Dwight in the comic really did not want to join the Commonwealth at all, and he hated the fact that Rick was doing that. So in this case, you know, Pearl Thorne would have to hate that Rick is joining the CRM, and so I don't see that happening. If anything, it would be Michonne replacing Dwight, right? Like Michonne being upset with Rick that he's joining the CRM, and then what, Rick is forced to kill Michonne afterwards? Like, he's never going to do that. So no, I don't think that moment's going to happen. I think that's all sort of done with at this point. Q&A, do you think Rick will have to kill Thorne just like Shane? Because episode 3, where Thorne was aiming at Michonne, gave me season 2 vibes when Shane was aiming at Rick. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if Rick will be forced to do it. That's a possibility. As of now, I'm sort of thinking that she's gonna die by Beal, you know, because of her working with Rick and Okafor to try to change the CRM. I still think that's gonna come out at some point here, and again, Pearl is sort of like she's working with Beal and all of that, but she hasn't said anything about that, right? So I think that could be something that does come up here, and yeah, we'll see where that goes. Q&A, do you think the character returning to The Walking Dead, Ones Who Live, is Negan's wife? I'm gonna say no, I don't think so. I think that would be very, very random, because I'm pretty sure she went somewhere else, right? Q&A, will you check out the Fallout TV show in April when The Ones Who Live is over? I am definitely checking it out. I probably will do a review on the whole thing, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna be checking it out for sure. Q&A, there are 3 big characters that I could see dying in this season: Michonne, Jadis, or Pearl. Which of these 3 do you think is gonna die? I think Michonne's fine. I don't think she's gonna die at all. Jadis and Pearl, I think probably Pearl. Jadis, I could see as well, because I feel like, you know, she's been around for a while. Maybe this season is sort of her season to be the villain and all of that, and then she dies in the finale. I could see that, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that Pearl's going to be the one to go here. I just think that she was a really amazing season 1 character, and I don't know. I could see her dying here in the finale. Q&A, do you think that's Wendell and Sarah? So you're referring to the drawing on the TV. No, I don't think so. I honestly don't know who they drew on the TV. It could be a reference to other characters, but it honestly could be a reference to just, I don't know, some of the, you know, people who are working on The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, like behind the scenes and stuff. I'm not entirely sure. Like that'd be a really good question, I think, to ask Gimple. Q&A, do you think that the room where Michonne grabs the knife in the trailer is actually her old house? I'm gonna say no. I think that would be way too convenient. Like, they jump out of a helicopter and then they land in the water and then all of a sudden are in front of Michonne's old house. Like, no, I think it would be too convenient. Like, yeah, I don't see it happening. Q&A, since we know the CRM has a lot of refueling stations, do you think this is supplied by New York City, and that is how Dead City is involved with the CRM? We know that the Croat was making fuel out of walkers. It's possible, but it's also like, you know, the CRM could probably just do that on their own as well. Like, I don't think they need the Croats' help with that. So I would say that, you know, maybe there's a connection in terms of that, but I don't know. I think that, like, I don't know. I don't know how powerful the Dama is on Dead City. Like, we don't know anything about her. She was just sort of a character that appeared out of nowhere, literally in episode 6, and she seems like a really, really interesting character. But we'll have to wait, obviously, until this show airs, which they're going to be filming very soon for season 2. So, you know, there's going to be some information likely that comes out with that. But yeah, as of now, we're just going to have to wait and see. Q&A, since we now know who drew Judith and Michonne on the phone, how did he know what Judith looked like when she grew up a bit? How did Rick know? Did the CRM show him a picture to let him know she's doing fine? No, I just think that that's sort of like, it's not like the picture was, I don't know, to me, it's not that crazy to think. Like, a lot of people have brought this up, and I just always sort of thought that it is just Judith with a hat on. Like, the only thing Rick assumed that Judith looked like when she got older was that she would be wearing the hat, basically. But also, Judith wore the hat beforehand. So I think he just sort of drew whatever. And I think, you know, the only difference really was, I feel like Judith, you could say she had like more like curly hair when she was younger, but I think that's more of a casting thing just in general. So I think that, you know, that picture just kind of looks like Judith in general. Like, I don't think it's anything that crazy. You know what I mean? I think that if anything, it was more of a mistake, I guess, just on their part. Q&A, do you think Silas might appear? At this point, no, I don't think any World Beyond characters are going to be in the show. Q&A, with the context of the last 3 episodes, how do you think Rick and Michonne could get away without Jadis destroying Alexandria? And how do you think Thorne will find out Rick is married to Michonne? Well, on that last part, I don't think it really matters. Like, Pearl already knows that Rick and Michonne are together, so I don't think that really matters. But in terms of the last 3 episodes, how do I think Rick could actually get away with without Jadis destroying Alexandria? I think he just has to make a deal with her, basically. But I also just kind of feel like Beal knows already. Like, I know that's kind of insane to say, but I just feel like at this point, like, maybe he hasn't known the entire time, but maybe he's been like learning over like the last like episode or 2. He went and like did his own, you know, looking around, and he just found that out. Like, I just feel like that's not that crazy to think that that's what he did, right? Like, I just think that Beal knows a lot more than we know. Q&A, I've heard rumors that Murder Jacket Rick will return. Do you think that that's what they foreshadowed in episode 1, or do you think there will be more of that in coming episodes? They did talk a lot about that before the show aired, and we haven't really seen Murder Jacket Rick yet. I think maybe in episode 4 we can see some of it, but yeah, you are right about that. We haven't actually seen Murder Jacket Rick yet, where he's just going crazy, killing walkers and all that. Like, yeah, we haven't seen that version of Rick yet. Maybe in the finale, you know, I could see that happening, but yeah, I don't know. The best scene to me for Rick, I think, in this show so far is the scene with him and Okafor. That was like definitely, like, for me, the best scene that Rick has done yet. And obviously we'll see what happens here in episode 4, but so far that was my favorite Rick Grimes scene. Q&A, do you think Madame Jana and General Beal are and somehow related and working together? I guess, yeah, you just mean like working together and whatnot. I do think they do know of each other. I think that, you know, I think there's a lot more than we know. Dimple is working on a lot of stuff. He is trying to connect everything. Like, you know, for him to not connect all of that, I feel like is a big mistake, because there's so much potential there. So because of the fact that Madame Jana, you know, she was getting walkers for experiments and stuff in America, you know, and that's very close to where the CRM are located, and there's a lot of things there that I think you can easily make connections there. So I just think that we're in the beginning part of learning of all this stuff here, and I think in the next coming seasons of all the shows, there's going to be these little things that come out that connect everything, right? And so anyways, post all your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for all of your guys' questions. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.